On Friday, we met her at about 3. That was when she came back, so she wouldn't start working until then. So during the rainy season, the agricultural season, production is slower. And then in the winter, I think it's greater. Bueno, ahorita cuando está lloviendo y usted va al campo, ¿cuántas piezas por día está sacando?
Como 15 piezas.
¿Por día?
No.
No, en un día, o sea, por ejemplo, si un día normal.
Entiendo.
Usted desayuna, se va al campo, regresa al campo a las 2, 3 y luego, ¿cuántas piezas se puede sacar?
Como 6 piezas.
Okay, so when she's going out and working in the cornfield, she said maybe 6. So when she's not going out to the cornfield, I don't know, could be 10, 12. Hay días en que se puede sacar 15 si no se va al campo.
Sí.
Yeah, so when she doesn't go out, to tend to the cornfield, she can make 15 pieces in a day. And I mean, we're seeing like, it takes 5 minutes or 7 minutes, but there's a lot of sort of startup
prep work
after work, so it's not just what we're seeing here, but because I think it takes a while just to prepare the wedges.
It's interesting, Lynn, that she's utilizing the grog or the sand underneath that piece of leather to help with the turning.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, so part of the technology is the piece of leather, but it's this really fine sand underneath that allows the smooth kind of movement of it to take place. So the sand is in the clay, but it also helps to facilitate the wheel in the sense of the motion. No, it's so amazing. It's like genius. It's so simple.
Well, that's why it's so amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, you think about people with $2,000 potter's wheels and big electric kilns and.
Señora, usted empezó a trabajar el barro a los 15 años. ¿Quién le enseñó?
Mi mamá.
So her mom taught her. ¿Y ahora usted también le enseña a sus hijas o solo las que quieren aprender?
Yo las enseño.
¿Porque usted quiere o porque ellas quieren?
Porque las dos queremos. O sea, ven que yo trabajo el barro y le digo, a ver, para que trabaje. Y ya les encanta.
Can you translate her?
I asked her if she teaches her daughters because she wants them to learn or because they want to, and she said a little of both, and now they're starting to like it as well.
Sus hijos también saben.
Yeah, all the girls know. And one of her daughters, Christina, makes all these little figurines. I think they'll probably have them inside there. Every time I come here, there's like something new. And the latest thing is a pipe. It's like a gutter pipe. And at the end of it is a plumed serpent, so the water comes out of the mouth. I don't know if they still have them, but last Friday they had like 30 of them, and that's what Christina was working on. She makes pigs, she was making a dove. For a while they were making human heads and figures, and I mean it's like the textiles where people are constantly innovating because you're trying to get your stuff on the market and have something different. So you're constantly shifting, the kind of thing that you're doing. But this sort of utilitarian production of comales and, pots like this is kind of goes through time because people continue to use them. Okay. ¿Nos puede explicar un poco qué pasa después? Que se pone el otro lado.
Sí, después de que ya lo elaboré así, y luego tengo que finarlo otra vez con estas mismas.
So what I'm going to do, when I have those basic forms, the next thing I'm going to do is refine them with these tools. So I'm going to pick up each one and kind of clean it up and refine it.
Y ya después, cuando ya está así, le echo barro rojo.
And after that, after I finish that process of sort of here, you can see that's one that's been gone over, and then I apply, ya tiene el barro, ¿verdad?
No,
tiene.
apenas.
Okay, so this is what it looks like before she puts the red clay slip on it. I think se seca por un rato, ¿no?
Se seca.
¿Por cuánto tiempo?
Casi medio día.
Okay, so it's got to dry after she's gone over it, then it dries for about half a day.
Yeah, not totally, because if
No,
it
not
did,
completely,
yeah.
and then she's going to put the slip, and then I think she'll tell us the rest.
Y un día para afinar, para
Un día.
alisar.
Después o antes de rojo? Antes, okay, so
No,
it dries.
después del rojo.
Después,
Ya le
okay.
eché el rojo y un
Okay,
día se va a
so
secar.
this one, it dries, she puts the red slip on it, I think it dries again, and then they use these stones to kind of varnish, is that a word?
Burnish.
Burnish the finish before it's fired. So I think she's going to show us a little bit about how that works. Entonces eso ya tiene el rojo y ya se secó.
Ya se secó un día.
Un día. Then, okay, after it gets the red slip on it, it dries for one day, and then she burnishes it. Son piedras especiales.
Piedras especiales.
Okay, so these are del río también.
Del río.
So these are special stones, again, another technology that comes from the river. You know, smooth stones, I don't know of a particular shape, but she's got a whole bucket full. ¿Se puede pasar para que se vea?
Sí.
Entonces tienes que saber escoger las piedras también.
Sí.
You have to know the right stone to pick.
We give her back that stuff. That's one
Yeah, she's gonna use this one right now.
Quiere- Aquí se puede ocupar.
Podemos
Se
pasar
lo
otra.
pasan otros, ¿no? Porque usted ya va a ocupar esto. So she's in this polishing process. And you guys are the last group we're going to be able to bring out here because this is our last NEH. I just thought of that. Because they're not funding any programs outside the U.S. after this year. So I'm really glad you get to see this. Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that laws in the United States agriculture is eating.
Yeah, unless you start doing it, you know, on like the Navajo reservation.
Some of this changed. It's been-
Any other questions for Martha or comments?
So it wasn't clear, so the boys do not do the pottery.
Es una pregunta que los niños, los hombres no trabajan el barro.
No.
No.
That's what I thought she.
It's just women.
¿Usted los inscribe o hay alguna manera en que usted indica que usted es la creadora del barro?
¿Se firma en las obras o no?
No.
Por ejemplo, algunas personas en textiles o pinturas pongan su nombre.
Ah, sí.
Usted no.
No, no las
No,
¿No
she
tiene
does-
ninguna marca? O...
No, pero sí se puede. O sea,
Algunas
pues,
personas del pueblo
sí,
sí.
algunas
And so
personas.
the question was, do you sign your work? She said no, but some people in the community do. If you, I don't know if you can see it, but Marta, lo puedes mostrar porque se ve muy clara la diferencia. If you can kind of see, she's halfway up. There's a real difference in in the finish. So she's gonna go over the whole pot.
Is that same thing like
Lo termino para que lo vean.
She said, I'm gonna finish so you can see what it looks like when it's done.
Señora Marta, ¿cuánto le pagan por cada pieza?
50 pesos.
50 pesos per pot. Esto de la pedida de Tlacolula.
Sí.
So 50 pesos a pot. Which is, there's now 16 pesos to the dollar. So that's about $3. Ah, sí, la diferencia. If you can see.
You gotta be still. There we go. Very fast.
That's not. Break it.
Anyone who's got steady hands want to hold it up or pass it back so other folks can see. I guess if you break it, you buy it.
Sí, saca.
You pass it back so they can
Por
see.
eso un día como 5, ¿no?
5 al día.
Pero si que salga rápido.
They knocked it, broken
¿Y
into.
seguido les llegan órdenes grandes, como de 50 o es raro?
Es rápido, sí, de vez en cuando. Pero cuando nos llega, sí aprovechamos porque de ahí viene la vida.
¿Y toda la familia ayuda o usted la...?
Sí, mis hijas me ayudan ahora, sí. Ya todo el proceso que está, ya ellos lo pueden usar, pues ellos ya lo pueden usar.
So when she gets large orders, her daughters will help her. She said orders like 50 are pretty rare, but when they do come in, her daughters will help her refinish and finish the job. And she says it's very tiring, so she'll average about 5 a day to space out.
Right, so 50 pesos for 50 pots, right? 2,500 pesos. Y están trabajando para los 50 como 2 semanas, ¿no?
Sí.
Okay, so that's 2,500 pesos for several people working over a 2-week period. So, how much is that in
About
dollars?
200 million, just under.
1,000 pesos is about $60, so.
It's like 150.
It's 150, right? So, you know, that breaks down to maybe, and then there's the material, there's other, you know, cost. The fire, actually, la leña
Sí,
es muy caro, ¿no?
muy caro.
¿Cuántos cargas se van a usar para esos 50?
Como 4 cargas.
Okay, so just the firewood, ¿y cuánto es por carga?
A 200 pesos.
It's 200 pesos per load of firewood. She's going to use 4 to fire these pots. That's 800 pesos. So that 2,500 pesos that she gets, minus 800 just for the firewood, okay? So you can take that $150 down to probably about 100. And y hay otros costos también de otros materiales.
Que se queme.
No, o sea, estamos calculando cuánto van a ganar con los 50. Entonces paga 2,500 por 50, pero hay que descontar 800 de leña, ¿no? Y a lo mejor hay que descontar otras cosas también, no sé. So, I mean, there may be a little bit more, but you can see that the profit, you know, the quote profit margin and the hourly wage, I mean, let's just say if it's $100, right? You've got 3 people working over 2 weeks, probably at least 5 hours a day. I mean, you're down, you can see like 30 cents an hour. So. And then if one of these gets